The Jedi Temple was not a monument to the light. It was a tomb built upon a single magnificent lie. For over 8 centuries, its heart had been a cancer, a presence so deeply embedded in the fabric of the Order that it was indistinguishable from the Force itself. The Jedi believed they were led by their wisest, their most serene, their most powerful master. They were wrong. They were led by their most patient enemy. Master Yoda did not sit on his council chair. He presided from a throne of deception. His large, expressive ears would droop in a performance of weary wisdom, his gamer stick tapping a gentle, rhythmic counterpoint to the pride and dogma of his fellow Jedi. They saw serenity. They saw the embodiment of the light. They saw what Darth Invictus, the Sith Master, who had conquered death and buried his past so deep it was forgotten, wanted them to see. His philosophy was the antithesis of the brutish Sith who had come before. They sought power through rage, domination, and obvious ambition. Invictus saw that as a child's game. True, ultimate power was not seized from the light, it was woven into it. Why rule from the shadows when you could command the light itself? Why destroy the Jedi when you could hollow them out from within, turn their own strength into a cage, and make them the architects of their own destruction? The rule of 2 was not a chain for him, it was a useful myth to keep his public apprentices in line while he worked on a grander scale. His true apprentice was the Jedi Order itself. Centuries ago, it was Yoda who had masterfully reformed the Jedi Code. He was the architect of the strict forbiddance of attachment, the champion of emotional detachment as the highest virtue. It was a brilliant, cruel strategy. Fear is the path to the dark side, he would intone to younglings, his voice soft and grandfatherly. Fear leads to anger. Anger leads to hate. Hate leads to suffering. The lesson was true, but his application was a perversion. He didn't teach them to understand and master their emotions. He taught them to bury them, to see the very core of their humanity as a weakness. A Jedi who never learned to love could never learn the true strength required to protect it. A Jedi who never faced their fear could never truly conquer it. He created emotionally stunted, repressed monks, powerful yet philosophically neutered. They were predictable, placid, and utterly dependent on the wisdom of the council, on his wisdom. He was the one who insisted the Jedi become generals, advisors to the Senate, politicians. He mired them in bureaucracy and war, distancing them from the living force he claimed to hold so dear. It corrupted them, made them rigid, arrogant, and blind. The perfect prey, believing themselves to be the galaxy's shepherds. His greatest manipulation was the Chosen One prophecy. He had nurtured it, whispered of it in the archives, ensuring it was a foundational pillar of Jedi lore. He knew that when the one destined to destroy the Sith finally arrived, he would be raised and molded by the ultimate Sith Lord. The destroyer would become the ultimate weapon. When Qui-Gon Jinn presented the boy from Tatooine, Yoda's performance was exquisite. Clouded this boy's future is, he murmured in the council chamber, his face a mask of concern. Much fear I sense in him. His cells have the highest concentration of midi-chlorians I have ever seen. Qui-Gon argued, he is the Chosen One. A prophecy that misread could have been. Yoda replied, his voice soft but final, the weight of 8 centuries giving the lie an unassailable gravity. The rejection was deliberate. It was the first seed. It ensured Anakin would feel like an outsider, that his fear and insecurity would fester without the guidance he truly needed. It set him on the path to someone who would appear to offer validation. Chancellor Palpatine. Palpatine was not a rival. He was the other half of a perfect cosmic deception. He was the public face, the obvious villain, the lightning and the thunder. Yoda was the deep, silent current that guided the entire river. Their relationship was the ultimate expression of the rule of 2, not master and apprentice, but partners in a grand design. Palpatine handled the political corruption, the manipulation of the Senate, the creation of the clone army. Yoda handled the spiritual corruption, the weakening of the Jedi from within, the approval of the army, and the guiding of Anakin's fragile psyche towards its breaking point. Their communication was not through comlinks, but through the Force itself, a private, dark side frequency hidden within the cacophony of the light. When the Clone Wars began, Yoda's decision to deploy the Jedi as generals was met with devotion. He was sending his children to die in a war he had helped orchestrate. The dark side clouds everything, he would tell the council, his face a perfect portrait of grim determination. Impossible to see, the future is. It was the masterpiece of his lie. He blamed the very obscurity he was creating. His manipulation of Anakin was subtle and relentless. He was always the voice of cold, detached dogma, pushing the boy further from the emotional support he craved. When Anakin confessed his visions of Padme's death, Yoda's advice was a carefully crafted knife. "The fear of loss is a path to the dark side," he said, not looking at the terrified young man. "Oh, what must I do, Master Yoda?" "Train yourself to let go of everything you fear to lose." It was the worst possible advice. It didn't offer hope or a solution. It confirmed Anakin's deepest terror that the Jedi, that Yoda, could not help him. It perfectly herded him into the waiting arms of Palpatine, who offered a tangible, if monstrous, solution. The execution of Order 66 was not just Palpatine's command, it was their command, a symphony of betrayal centuries in the making. As Jedi across the galaxy fell, Yoda, on a distant world, felt each death through the Force. But it was not grief he felt, it was a profound, thrumming satisfaction. The harvest was complete, his children had served their purpose and were being culled. His duel with Palpatine in the Senate Rotunda was the greatest performance in galactic history. The lightning, the acrobatics, the desperate struggle between light and dark. It was all choreographed. A thrilling spectacle to sell the illusion of their opposition. "If so powerful you are, why leave?" Palpatine taunted, his voice echoing in the vast chamber. "Failed I have," Yoda declared, his voice heavy with a feigned grief that masked immense triumph. "Into exile I must go." He didn't flee in defeat, he retired from the stage. His work was done. The Jedi were extinct, the Republic was an empire. The Chosen One was a broken, mechanized monster serving his public partner. He retreated to the swamp planet of Dagobah, a place strong with the dark side energy of pain and death, to wait and watch his empire reign. He was a contented king in the shadows of his perfect creation. Years later, when a hopeful Luke Skywalker arrived, Yoda saw not a threat, but the final delicious irony. The son of the Chosen One, come to be trained by the very Sith Lord who had engineered his father's fall. He would teach the boy the same hollowed out, emotionless Jedi dogma. His lessons were designed to create a philosophically disarmed knight. "Wars not make one great," he would croak, a lesson in passivity. "Do not give in to hate," he instructed, while secretly nurturing Luke's frustration and fear. When Luke struggled to lift his X-Wing from the swamp, the lesson was a masterpiece of deception. "I don't believe it," Luke exclaimed, giving in to frustration. "That is why you fail," Yoda replied calmly. He then effortlessly lifted the ship, not as a lesson in the light, but as a demonstration of the dark side's power, framed as faith. He was teaching Luke to have faith in Yoda's power, not his own. He was creating a weapon to be thrown at his partner, Palpatine. No matter who won that confrontation, the Sith won. The greatest Sith Lord in history never wielded a red lightsaber. He never threw a single bolt of lightning at a Jedi. He simply smiled a gentle green smile, and with a soft word and a wave of his clawed hand, he made an entire galaxy complicit in its own enslavement. He didn't conquer the light. He became its beloved, trusted face. And in doing so, he made the light itself the very engine of the dark.